All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening into this in the Facebook group. I am going to do one of my favorite things ever today, talking to past clients. And I love this because these are women that I know, and these are women that perhaps a few months ago hadn't even heard of me or whether I existed or whatever it is. And now I'm intimately involved in their lives. They come to me, they open up to me, and we take them through their lives and work through the challenges that they're facing. So today we're talking to Ruth. Now, I remember speaking to Ruth actually. I don't think it was a Saturday when we spoke, Ruth. I think it was a weekday. I'm trying to remember as I was going back a few months now. And when we spoke, and I knew in my heart of hearts I could help you, but I'm not sure you were sure, right? Of it, but based on the outcomes that you had and everything, I can't wait to really have this conversation with you. So tell me a bit about what you do, how many children you have, etc.
Right, so I work for a charity. It's all about empowering people to travel around actively. So I'm head of a team. Well, I'm head of a team that's about empowering people, and what the charity does as a whole is make it easier for people to walk and cycle. Sustrans, the charity. That's my job, and I've got two boys, Jack and Sam, who are 5 and 3, nearly 4 now as well, actually. And I live in London.
All righty. So Ruth is, if you like, the typical demographic of the woman I serve. So she's a professional woman. She's a mother with children. And my mothers tend to have, older children, younger children in the mix, etc., etc. So Ruth, tell us a bit about the results that you got as a result of doing the program.
Yeah, so I think just my kind of general mindset really is really different now. I feel much more in control of what I'm doing, but also what's going on in my head. I feel more able to just be in the right kind of state in order to get things done and to be constructive and to to push myself, really, to push myself to do the things that I want to do and to be the person that I want to be in all the settings of my life. And I just feel like I believe that I can do those things, whereas before, I think, I think it was much more turbulent before, whether I
Right.
felt that or not,
Right.
So,
Okay. Okay. So ladies, let me give you three things. And this is how the human psychology works, right? About how yesterday somebody told me it's a particular syndrome. This is what makes women forget about the pain of childbirth and go off and have another one. It's got a name. I can't remember now. I will Google it and let you guys know. But three things that stand out for me in terms of when I'm asking you about the outcomes. I remember the small matter of us sleep training the children. So there was that small matter of that outcome. I'm wanting to mention changing energy levels. I'm wanting to mention the small matter of a promotion.
yeah.
But we will get back to all of those. We will get back to all of those. So, where were you, Ruth, when you found me?
So I was just like every week I was going through a kind of roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster, really. Every week I kind of felt like a failure. Like every week, like at some point in the week, I would hit something that felt like rock bottom and just feel like I wasn't doing anything right in any area, and it was all just falling apart around me. like I didn't feel like that all the time, but like I was consistently feeling that on, you know, on a regular basis. I was feeling that. So I was stressed. I was overwhelmed by everything. Just feeling like incapable, really. A lot of the time, you know,
Mm, mm.
just feeling really negative about everything, I guess.
And why was it important to fix it?
Well, I just don't want to live like that. You know, it's not really a nice place to live.
Mm,
And you know, for me, you know, I want to do things. I want to make change. I want to make a difference in the world, and I want to enjoy my life. And I want my kids to be happy and to have a good experience of their childhood, and you know, all those things that, you know, you're not doing if you feel crap all the time.
yeah. Yeah. And this is it for somebody like you who works for a charity and making a difference is important to you. And this is why I say to my women, it's like you are a conduit for change.
Mm,
And until you fixed yourself and you're feeling strong in yourself and you're feeling positive and confident and capable, you're holding yourself back. And if you're holding yourself back, the change that needs to happen through you is not happening.
mm,
And for mothers, unfortunately, we have the added bonus of influencing other lives directly. And so, who we are being as people and all that is setting somebody else's emotional template as well. So, there's that added dimension to how we live our lives. So, Ruth, what had you tried before you came to me?
So I'd done some, like, quite a bit on parenting, which like had been helpful, and I'm still like continuing with that stuff. Um, and I'd done tried to do some stuff on diet and like the routines around food, and but it was just kind of, all of it felt like a bit of a drop in the ocean. Um, like like definitely some of the stuff that I did with parenting was helpful, but then it felt like everything else around me was still just all over the place, and then that would feed in back into the parenting stuff. So it was kind of like not enough, if you see what I mean.
I do.
And the stuff that I tried, like I was trying to do some stuff with diet and eating routines, but I just found it really hard to make any changes. It felt impossible.
Yeah.
I felt like I wanted to do it, but I also, I guess, didn't really believe that I could do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for you, the belief was one of those things, as in, you didn't believe that you would ever get any other outcome. But also, people do a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that,
yeah.
right? And then, no, yeah, they're doing a bit of this, a bit of that. They only do this for a short time, then they stop, and then whatever, they stop. And then you just get to the point where you think, what is the point? Do you know? And rather than having a sort of a systematic, concerted way, so everything is working together to support you, and you also know exactly what you're doing and you know where to tweak things when things start not feeling well. So it's having the knowledge to do that in that holistic way, I
Mm,
think. And when I speak to people and they're like, I'm going to read your book, and I'm like, don't do that. It's not like my book is not a good book, do you know? But that is knowledge. That's not transformation. You need somebody literally to drag you there. Do you know? And Ruth, we had some interesting conversations. Do you know where I get in your face and I'm like, no, I'm not buying that. And we need to
mm.
do this instead. And that is what you need to get you to get over yourself. So, how did you find me?
I just came across it on Facebook, and which is weird because I hardly ever use Facebook. Um, I only really use it for like a couple of different things where I've got like groups that there's a parenting group that I'm a part of. So I look for that, and then I must have been looking on that group, and then it just came up I don't know, it just came up as a video. I just clicked on it. It kind of grabbed me because it seemed you seem to be kind of talking about all the things that were affecting me, like all together. And I just wanted to know more. So I watched your video, and then I wanted to know more about it after that as well.
Alrighty. So, and it's interesting when people say, "Oh, you seem to be talking about my life," and it's just because I've been there. I was that mother out of control. And so I'm talking from personal experience. This is not something I've read in the book. I know what it feels to wake up tired and exhausted and feeling that you're failing and the children still need you and you just going through the motions and going to work. And I mean, I'm not saying this was your particular incident, but people feeling like a fraud at work, and and it's draining. It's
Yeah, I mean, I
emotional.
was I felt like that at work, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is
Okay,
that
so
kind of thing of everything, there's just everything. And you just feel like it's every area of your life,
yeah. Yeah. And it just robs you of energy, it puts you into self-doubt and all that kind of stuff. And if you're not living well, your hormones play up as well. Right. And then they start tripping you up, and then you get the mood swings and all the rest of it. And then the husband gets in the neck, and then we all know how that goes down. So and I'm always intrigued as in because I say all sorts of things on the call, but I'm always intrigued as to what it was I said that made you decide, okay, I'm gonna take the jump.
Yeah, well, you were quite firm with me about it, which I think made a difference. Like, because that's kind of what I needed in a way, someone to be like, "Come on, this is what you need."
Yeah.
And I think you framed it like a choice, like, do you want to stay where you are, or do you want something different?
Yeah. And I mean, because this was a chat we were having when we came on the call. For me, it breaks my heart when people go off and I don't know, decide to go have the new kitchen or go on holiday, because you'll come back. You would have had the new kitchen, you have the holiday, but you're still the same crappy mindset. It's still the same self-doubt. Your hormones are still playing up. The kids are still not sleeping through the night. And it's like, why would you prioritize something that you can always have that new kitchen, you can always go on that holiday, blah blah blah, but the kids, their time with you is finite. Do you know, this is such an important window for you to affect their psychology. This is such an important window for them to see you crush it. And people still choose to go off and do all these things, and I'm sitting there thinking, you have a choice, right? You have a choice. It's your health and your children's mindset and their health, sometimes depending if you're not eating well and all that kind of stuff. All right, so what did you do right away when you came into the program? What were some of the things you did right away?
What did I do right away? I can't remember now what I did straight away when I started. Oh, I definitely felt like it was something positive. Like I felt good that I was doing something for me.
Tell me about your first Q&A. How did you feel in your first Q&A?
I think the Q&As were actually really great. Like I didn't expect the Q&As to be as good as they were. It felt exciting to be like with other people doing that as well. So
yeah,
because when I did my first Q&A, there was one other person who was starting at the same time, so it felt really nice to kind of be on that journey together.
Yeah. And so that's interesting, because that was actually Melenza. So I did her interview, I think last month or whenever it was. But yeah, and she is doing great, by the way. So
We're in
What
touch actually. Yeah, we've been
you
keeping in
are?
touch. Yeah, yeah,
Ah, fantastic. That
yeah.
is so great. That is so, and for me, it's the friendships as well. It's the friendships the people form as well. So, what surprised you about the program?
Um, what surprised me? I think um, it was just it felt just how positive it felt, really, to be on it.
Mm,
And like the Q&As, I think were something like I was a bit skeptical at first about how I would make time for it, and like, how am I going to fit this in? But then once I was committed to it and I put it in my calendar, it was actually really easy to be at those Q&As, and it felt not really like a highlight of the week to go to Q&As and connect with everybody.
and this is the thing when I say to people, once you get intentional about your goals and what you want, you will be surprised how easy it is to line up, right? But a lot of the time we think, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that. And it's all in this hazy fog
Mm,
above your head. But with the Q&As, you don't have a choice. It's happening. So you have to have in your diary. And if you miss it, I come after you, blah, blah, blah. So it is like, I just have to go to shut Gifty up or whatever. But then you come in and then you hear other people and then suddenly you kind of get sucked in, right? And
yeah.
then not only are you sucked in, suddenly you also find that people behind you that your experiences are relevant too. Do you want to talk
Yeah,
to
I
that?
mean, the Q&As are really useful in that sense, and hearing other people talk about stuff that was going on for them was really helpful.
Yeah.
And I think quite often if I was, yeah, just worried about anything and raise it in a Q&A, and it all kind of made everything make more sense again.
Yeah. Yeah. But so and so here's the other thing, because people think, oh my God, I just want a one-to-one all the time. And I say to people, really, that's just me telling you you can do it. Doesn't mean you can believe you believe it. Whereas in the Q&A is different. You've heard other women, you've heard what they achieved, and you're like, hang on, if she can do it, I can do that too. So it's a lot for me as a coach, right? It's a lot more easy for me to see the transformation in somebody in a Q&A, because in a Q&A, when a peer is telling them, that person is not paid to tell you that. Do you know? It is more coming from a place
Mm,
of, this is just completely objective. So
yeah. And you feel like, a lot of the time if you just do one-to-ones, you feel like it's just you that has these kind of problems. But it's really powerful to hear other people experiencing similar things, and people
yeah,
that, that if you just met them in real life, you would never expect that they were experiencing similar things to you.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And this is it, because at the end of the day, we all have our neuroses. We're all in the same boat. And in the group here, the Q&A, everybody's working on career, everybody's working on their relationship with their kids and their partner, and their health. So we have a shared, objective, and I'm just there leading the pack. So that it makes you open up. And of course, I make you guys, I set you a difficult challenge, um, which a lot of people try not to do until they don't have a choice but to do it. So tell me then, Ruth, where are you today?
well, yeah, I think, like I was saying at the beginning, I do just feel quite differently about myself. And, I did, as you mentioned, I got a promotion at work, which is kind of, yeah, great. And I feel much more
So
able to throw myself into that kind of leadership role and put myself out there as a leader and be confident about who I am as a leader in that role.
and I want to pause you there, because we had this conversation before the promotion. And I hope you remember telling you that if you didn't go for the promotion, I was never going to forgive you.
Yeah.
Because ladies, Ruth was at that point where she's, oh, I don't know, maybe, if I go for the promotion, it will take away from my time with my kids and what. And I'm like, don't be bloody stupid, right? And now You not only did you go for it, you went for it, you got it, and now there you are, you're thriving. So it's, again, it's just the way we hold ourselves back, and the things we're afraid of, we build them up to be something, some ogre out there. And if only we had somebody to tell us, don't be bloody stupid, right? And if you don't do it, I'll never forgive you. And just make sure you throw your hat in the ring, because you never know. You just never know, all right, so you got that promotion, which is fantastic. And dare I ask, with the skills that you have now and with the promotion, do you think you were working any harder than you were when you were not in that position?
No, I don't think so. Just differently.
Yeah.
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 I do. I set aside more time for thinking as well, which I never. I've been told that I need to do that and thought that I need to do that and wanted to do it, but wasn't really doing it for a long time. So yeah, I mean, now I do spend more time doing that.
Yeah.
Which makes a difference.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I'm not doing everything perfectly, but my response to that in myself is different.
Yes.
So I'm more ready to let go of things and just to say, well, I just didn't get that done, or that's just not going to happen, or okay, that went wrong. Okay, let's sort it out,
And this is it. So that went wrong. Let's sort it out. That is the mindset, rather than that went wrong, so I'm shit and I need to be put down and all that kind of stuff that holds you back. It's that confidence, it's that process, it's that work you've done on your self-esteem. So and when you're saying is life is not perfect, life will never be perfect, things will never be perfect, perfection is a myth. And even when you think they're perfect for 5 minutes, right? And it changes. That just is life. And so, unless you want to white knuckle it through life, you just need to chill out about the imperfection and develop your sea legs and just go with it. So, whatever is coming at you, it's like, all right, how do we fix this? Right. But that's where you are now, as in you're like, whatever is coming, how do we fix it? So more about the how rather than why is this happening? It means I'm shit. I'm going to go and I don't know, jump in a bin or something. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like that in other areas of my life as well. Not just work. In my relationships at home with my children and my husband. I did make some quite big progress during the program with the relationship with my husband and communication with him. I had some breakthroughs, and it's been a lot better. But it's still not perfect. There's still stuff that will come up that gets difficult. But then I just feel more able to be like, okay, this is happening. How am I going to manage it?
Yeah, which is fantastic, because now you have the tools to have a difficult conversation and you know what to do. You even have the words, right?
Yeah.
So it's just knowing. So when it comes up, and then I know you were quite resistant to the sleep training. Eventually, we got you there. We dragged you, kicking and screaming. But I mean, how has that? And then now, before we came on, the conversations, oh God, I'm doing it, but not exactly a half step, no, whatever it is. Right? Maybe we created a monster. But but I mean, because for me, sleep is huge. Sleep is huge because it impacts on your energy levels, and it also has a knock-on impact on your relationship as well, because when you're tired and stuff like that, you're not patient, you're irritable, everything is a big deal and stuff like that. So taking the time to sort that out for you, what difference has that made in your life?
I mean, that's definitely made a huge difference. like them, they sleep in their own beds now through the night. They both sleep through the night. Yeah, I can go to bed when I want and get a good night's sleep. Yeah, I feel really positively about that, and it obviously has knock-on effects through everything. So I do have more energy. In general, I'm getting more sleep. It just feels right as well for them. I think it feels
Yeah.
good for them as well.
Yeah, and this is the thing. If because sometimes the mothers feel that uh I don't know, they're hurting their children in some way, do you know? But what they're not realizing is that what you're actually giving them is that skill of independence, which they're going to need. Because in your son's case, I think even the nursery has commented on how he's showing up differently now.
Yeah, they said he's just happier there and not. I think he used to be quite resistant to things there. Now he's more engaged.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's sleeping well and also he's used to the structure now because now you are more confident, if you like, in terms of the routines, and they take those cues from you. They just take those cues from you. So so listen, we know where you are today. We know your relationship is better today with your husband, and what is happening with the kids and stuff like that. So if what would you say to somebody that is struggling and is on the fence about jumping into the program?
Yeah, I guess I guess I didn't believe that I could change these kind of things. I never believed that I could get up earlier in the morning and like meditate in the morning or go for a run in the morning. Like I just felt like all those things were just such a struggle. Like I wanted to do those things, but didn't believe that I could. All the things that we've talked about, really, um, and that I think maybe lots of people feel like that as well, and
Mm,
and you can change those things. You can create a different experience for yourself. Um, you can believe different things about yourself, and just change your experience, really,
yeah.
or
So
create a different experience.
yeah. Oh, and so and this is it. So I think I'm going to wrap it up in there in terms of you can create those experiences for yourself in terms of what you want. You can have whatever routine you want to support you, as in terms of whatever practices you want to build to support you. And people want to do all these lofty things, like meditate and go for a run before 8 a.m., whatever, right? Not so excuse my dogs in the background. And not different people have different aspirations, but then people go and build these huge castles in the air and nothing ever happens because then they get overwhelmed and they beat themselves up about it, and then nothing ever gets done. And so it's actually getting yourself in the space where you understand why you need to do whatever it is you need to do, and having the support to give you the mindset so that when you wake up and you don't feel like doing it, you know where to take your mind, you know what to think about. And when challenges are coming at you, how to process it, because that's
Mm,
life,
mm,
right? And it's also things that you would never ordinarily do for yourself. It's just see other women do it and think, okay, I'll give that a crack, you know, and do that for yourself. So, Ruth, listen, thank you ever so much for agreeing to do this interview. I know service is important to you because you work for a charity. You are actually doing a service to a lot of women by agreeing to let me speak to you, because me telling them is not always enough. They need to hear from somebody else who looks like a normal person. And that is what makes it accessible to their psychologists. So thank you ever so much. Well done. You came in there, you worked hard, you confronted your fears, you were coachable. I had to drag you into some of the things somewhat, but we got there. And you know, the kids are sleeping through the night, energy levels are good. You went and got yourself that promotion, you know, your relationship with your husband has got better. Bravo, bravo.
Thank
Keep
you.
up, keep up, keep up, and you can only keep up leveling. So thank you. Thank you for your time.
Gifty, yeah.